What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Damian Cryer, and I'm back with another video, man. I hope each and every one of you guys is having a wonderful and blessed day today. Let me adjust my camera. I'm actually at like a park area today because I didn't want to vlog at home. Oh, I still can't see the top of my little head. There we go. I did this video today at like a park area where like it's quiet, so that way I could do this video away from home today. As you guys see, today is not one of the best days. For Houston weather, it's like 70, 75 degrees, which is still not bad for the month of October, being that I think we're in the second week of October, going on the third week. Yes, actually we're going on the third week of October, but I can't really complain because the weather is not as bad as some places. Now, I know if I was back home in Indiana, it's probably 50s and 60s there, and leaves are probably falling off the trees and all that good stuff. So anyway, the reason for this particular video right here, man, this is like a story time video where I do a lot of videos, pranks, challenges, mukbangs. By the way, guys, excuse the background. Those are children outside playing. One thing I never get to do, well, one thing that I haven't been doing in a while is like story time videos. And I know like I have like a lot of new subscribers and my fan base is absolutely growing. And I want to thank you guys for that. So for the people who don't really know me, who recently subscribed to the channel for the pranks and stuff like that, I thank you. I appreciate it. And I hope that you guys continue to stick around. Welcome to the Cryer family. This is like a way for me to let those new people get to know me on a personal level. You know, we do a lot of crazy videos. Some people agree with some of the things we do. Some people disagree with the things that we do. But at the same time, we're going to continue doing what we do because that's what we do for a living. We're entertainers. And we will continue to bring entertainment, joy, laughter, and all that good stuff. We vlog our everyday life, things that we're doing. Some things we don't do on the camera because everything isn't for the camera. So this video in particular is several comments, because they never hear me talking about like my dad or nothing like that. So I have a lot of comments where people say, you know, is you and your dad close? Do you and your dad communicate a lot? Do you guys talk? Do you have a really strong father and son relationship? And so I guess this is like my opportunity to actually share with you guys a part of me. Now, as you guys know, I'm 49 years old. Originally born and raised in Indiana, Fort Wayne to be exact. I moved here about 3 months ago to Houston, Texas. You know, I got a son, I got grandkids down here and his wife, and also my only daughter has recently moved here, and I have grandkids from her as well. So it actually made sense for me to be closer to my kids and my grandkids. Even though we don't see each other every single day, it still makes me feel really good to be able to be in the same city that they live in. Now, back to the topic of as far as my dad. Actually, guys, for you who don't know, I actually don't even know my dad. I never met my dad, and I don't even know his name. Never seen a picture of him. I guess years ago, I don't know where to start at here, because I don't think I've ever did a video like this before. But years ago, maybe when I was a lot younger, I don't know, 9 or 10, I guess I had questions about who he was, what he looked like, where's he from, you know, is he receding hairline? I'm 49 years old, and so far I still got all my hair and all my teeth. I always wonder, like, you know, what does he look like? So I guess growing up for me without a dad, it didn't really affect me at a young, it didn't really affect me at a young age. It didn't really affect me until I got older. And that's when I think like when I got like my late 20s, I started like wondering like who he was, who is he? And it's like, how would I react if I ever seen him or he walked up to me today and said, hey, how you doing, Damien? My name is such and such. I'm your dad. I guess I don't even know where I would begin at. You know, as we think that the world is a big place, the world is not as big as we think that the world is. So with that being said, you never know who you're going to run into or bump into while we're on this journey. Started off younger, you know, jumping from 9. I'm gonna jump until I was like 14 or 15 years old. I started skipping middle school, going fishing and stuff. I guess being raised by a single mother with 5 siblings, 5 of the siblings, brothers and sisters. Actually, I have 5 brothers and 1 sister. My youngest brother passed away in 2000. I'm sorry, my youngest brother passed in 1995. His name was Ronald Cryer. He died very tragically. I guess growing up, 14 years old, I started skipping school, going fishing, started smoking cigarettes. I started doing stuff that I thought that was cool, trying to find my way as a young teenager. And I guess I never really gave it much thought because as a single mom, as a single parent that my mother was, you know, it's like she had other kids to worry about. So me being bad and skipping school, stuff that she would never catch on. And then, you know, I just started doing it and then started getting myself in trouble over the years, getting locked up and got caught up in the street life. And then I guess as I got older, I realized, man, well, damn, I'm out here getting in all this trouble. You know, like, where's my dad at? You know, my mom, she's coming to court dates, court hearings, making appearances, and had to take a taxi cab here and there. I mean, back in the 80s and stuff, guys, you know, 70s and 80s, there was no Uber and all that stuff. It was like a red, yellow taxi cab, or you walked. So I put my mom through hell. But as I got older, around 16, 17, 18 years old, I started, you know, really like learning more about myself. And I started realizing that, man, I'm finna get older pretty soon. My mom's gonna put me out the house, and it's like, what am I gonna do with myself after that? It's like, what do I do? And I always started thinking about, who is my dad? You know, I wish I could call him. I used to see guys, like when I was skipping school, going fishing and stuff, I see guys down there fishing with their dads and stuff. Go to the park, kids playing basketball with their dads, teaching their kids how to drive, teaching them how to shave and cut their hair and stuff like that. And I used to have this jealous side to me, to where when I seen kids with their dads, you know, I had this jealous side where I was just really, really resentful. And I didn't like those people because they had a dad and I didn't. So I guess after so many years of being a kid and always wondering and having all these questions in my mind as far as a dad, it's like I knew I wasn't going to have one anytime soon. So I just decided to start doing what I thought that a man should do. I actually taught myself how to drive. I'll never forget it, man. I bought a car. This had to be like right around the time my first son, Deontay, was born. Like in the 80s, he was born in 1988. And I bought a car back then. I had no driver's license, didn't know how to drive, but the guy sold me the car for 300 bucks. And yes, it was a lemon, you know, it smoked, the engine knocked. But me at that time, I didn't know the difference between a knocking engine and a smoking engine, a good car and a bad car. I just knew I was 18 or 19 years old and I got me a car for 300 bucks. Now, I gave the guy like $90 down. I paid him like $45 a week. And so what I did was, when I bought the car, I parked it in front of the apartment building I was staying at. And I waited till like when I thought that the police wouldn't really be out. I waited till like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I decided traffic's not going to be too heavy. So I got the car keys and I started the car up. And I was driving down this long stretch of road really slow. I had both hands on the steering wheel. I had a foot on the gas and a foot on the brake. So I was like, stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. Because I wanted to teach myself how to drive. And I was so scared, so I started going down side streets. And then after about 15 minutes of driving, I remember the engine just tap, 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 tap. It was knocking, the car was smoking. But I didn't care, and I didn't know any better. I just knew that I was actually driving behind the wheel of a real car, and I was driving it. And so I started going down side streets, and I'll say a little while into the drive, and I started getting the hang of it, where I went from like doing 5 or 10 to like 25 or 30. And I'm hitting the brakes and stopping, hitting the brakes, stopping. When I seen a car coming this way, because it was night, mind you, the lights come on, I'm thinking it's the police, so I pull over to the side real quick, and you know, when the car passed, I realized it wasn't the police, it was just another regular car coming down the street. So I get back and start driving again. So that's how I started teaching myself how to drive. And as days went by, I started driving more and more and more, even though I knew I didn't have a license. And then I put myself in a position to where I had to drive, because I found a job at a restaurant. It was a hamburger restaurant, and they hired me to start like cooking hamburgers and french fries and stuff like that. So I needed that car to get to work every day, and that's what kind of forced me to start getting tickets and stuff like that, driving without never receiving licenses. Then as I got older, believe it or not, guys, I didn't get my driver's license until June 10th, 1991. I'll never forget, I got my driver's license on my actual 21st birthday. And that's something I had did on my own. And then I realized, I guess over time, I started convincing myself, well, shoot, I don't need a dad to help me out. You know, I got my mom. You know, I taught myself how to shave, trim my little mustache back in the day. I had like little peach fuzz. I taught myself how to drive. I taught myself how to fish. And so then I decided to take it to a next level. You know, I just started doing stuff that I thought that a man was supposed to do back then. I joined the gang. I started fighting, carrying guns. I started doing all kind of stuff. I started cussing really bad, hanging with the wrong crowd, because I didn't care. But I realized every time I got caught and got locked up or got a ticket, I always called my mom. So after, I'll say, my 20s, I started realizing, well, I'm never going to meet this guy. I'm never going to find out who this guy is. I did ask a few times, like relatives, you know, and they gave me the directions to call this person, look this person up, which I called this guy. I said, hi. It was weird because the number was Ohio. It was a Cleveland, Ohio phone number. So I decided to call the number, and when the guy answered the phone, I won't lie, when he said hello, I hung the phone up really, really quick, and I didn't know what else to say. So I waited a few minutes, and then the guy called me back, and I'm like, oh my God. So I didn't say anything. I paused, I didn't say anything. Hold on one second, guys. So actually, I lost my train of thought. A couple people stopped and was speaking to me. Oh God, where was that? I would just say, a guy called, I called a guy, I got a number from a relative. Well, actually, I got the name from a relative of the guy that may be my dad. Again, I was born in 1970, so I got the name, and I looked the phone number up in the yellow pages. I don't think it was Google and all that stuff back then like it is now. But I got into the yellow pages, and I found the name that was associated with the name that I was given by a relative. I called the number, and the phone rung maybe like once or twice. And I heard the phone ring, and a guy with a really deep voice answered the phone on the other end. And when he answered the phone, his voice is very distinctive, like my voice. I have a very strong voice, and it's very distinctive. And he answered the phone, and I remember hearing him answer, and I hung the phone up. And my heart was racing really, really fast, like, wow, is this him? So what I did was I ended up getting a call back from him a few minutes later, and I didn't answer the phone. So I remember I was dating this lady at the time, and she asked me, well, did you talk to the guy? Did you ask him, you know, who he was, and does he know, or you know, does he know who you are? So I said no. I called him, and he hung up. I mean, I hung up, and then he called me back. I didn't answer. So then she said, why don't you try to call him? So I waited like a day or two to go by. And I remember I was at work one day sitting in the break room, and I had the phone number still on my phone. I'll never forget, because I had a little flip phone. Back then we had the little flip phones, Motorola flip phones. And I ended up calling the number back, and the guy, the same voice, answered the phone, and I said, hi, I called you a couple of days ago and I hung up. I apologize. He said, no problem. He said, what's this about? Can I help you? I said, I know this is an odd phone call. I said, but my name is Damian Cryer. I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I said, my mom, you know, I gave him my mom's name. He said, yes, I know who she is. And I was like, I was just wondering, I'm searching for my dad to find out who he is so I can have some type of relationship with him. Now, mind you, by this time, guys, I'm in my 20s. And the guy was like, yes, I know who your mom is. Yes, we used to date. And he said, I'm not your dad. Just like that. And he said, don't ever call this number again. I will never forget that. So I hung the phone up and I was sitting in the break room, and I remember my eyes was watery. I had tears in my eyes, like, wow, you know, was this him? You know, could this have been the man that I've been wanting to know? If this is the man who could change my whole life, to find out who he is. And he told me, don't ever call a number again. So I was hurt. I didn't know what to do. So I never called the number back. And here it is, like 20 something, maybe 30 years later. And right now to this day, I still have never met the guy. I don't know who he is. Now, right now to this day, again, if I were to meet the guy, I don't know how I would react, what I would say. I guess my first thing is I'd be like, hey, where's my child support at? No, that's just a joke. I wouldn't do that. I don't care about his money. And I guess the first thing I would want to do if somebody did approach me or reach out to me like that and say, hey, you know, I'm who you've been searching for, I probably would want some type of DNA test. I would probably want to meet my family on their side. I would want to meet their side of the family to see if I have additional brothers and sisters, cousins, relatives out there that I could potentially be walking past every day, or could potentially be working side by side with every day, and never had a chance to meet him. So I guess after all those years had passed, you know, I just kind of gave up. I never went to any type of social media or network or talk show like a lot of people do to find out like who he is. I guess I just live with it. So, you know, here I am at 49 years old now. And right now, I still be like, you know, who is he? You know, do my kids, do my grandkids have a great-great-grandfather? You know, like, will my kids ever be able to meet my actual dad? So, I guess after time goes by, you never, you know, you find ways to move on with it and be able to live with it. But then you have times where you're at a standstill. It could be something like, let's get a perfect example. A couple days ago, I was at a beach in Galveston, Texas. And while I was out there, I seen this guy out there with his daughter, and he had a son, and he had his dog. And, you know, that's when it just hit me again like a ton of bricks. Or if I'm dating someone, and they be like, well, I'm going over to my parents' house, you know, whatever, for dinner or lunch, or my parents going to come over, or they on the phone talking to their parents. It's like that side of me is like, damn, you know, how does that really feel? So I think with my kids is that's probably why, you know, I'm really close to them. I don't get to see all of my kids like I would like to. But it's like the relationship that me and Darian have. There's that train again, guys. I'm gonna stop the camera until the train goes through. Okay, guys, so the train is gone now. I don't know why. So it's like when I'm sitting outside vlogging sometime, I hear the train. It's like really loud. Sometime when I'm in the house and I start vlogging, I hear that loud horn. But back to what I was saying, man, and I hope this video is not boring you guys. And if it is, I'm sorry. I'll try to wrap it up as quick as possible. But it's like since I moved to Houston, you know, me being away from Fort Wayne and being away from my 11-year-old, I won't say that it's not hard on me. It is hard on me, but it's not as hard on him as I thought that it would be, because I travel back and forth once a month to see him and do things with him. Pretty much I do whatever he wants to do while I'm there. So he has an iPhone and we're able to keep in touch with each other, FaceTime, and so, you know, I guess that's what's That's what's most importantly. Like a lot of, I'm gonna say us dads, you know, when we break up with women or we get divorced or we separate or whatever the case is, we get locked up and be gone for a lot of years, you know, we think in our minds that as long as that we're paying child support or sending money here and there, we pretty much feel sometimes that our job is done. And the reason why I say we, because I'm guilty of that same thing. I've done it in the past, and shame on me for that. You know, I've dealt with my demons. That's my karma. That's done came back on me plenty of times. But we as parents sometimes, you know, even as we get older, we still have feelings. You know, you look at adults sometime and think, oh, they're fine, they got money, they got this, they got that, and sometimes people tend to think that all that means the world. But at the same time, you still have feelings, and sometimes, yes, I am one of those dudes. I'll be 50 years old June 10th of 2020. It's about 8 months away. And still at that point, I still wonder, like, wow, will I ever meet this guy one day? And I think for me, being able to move on after all these years without letting that hinder my ability to do what I want to do has made me a better man. It's made me a stronger man. And I guess that's what kind of makes me close. But it's not that I'm just close to my kids. I'm close to anybody that I come in contact with, especially if they got kids. I guess it's, you know, I'm not going to say it was a gift I was born with. I think it's just something that happened with my experiences in life. There's been times where I was asked by relatives, you know, if your dad ever reached out, would you want to meet him? And there's been times I said, fuck no. But then I know in my heart, it's like, who wants to leave here without ever knowing? So I got to spend a lot of wonderful years with my mother. God rest her soul. She was a wonderful, beautiful mom, you know, to raise 6 kids on her own. But I guess looking back now, I think if that were to happen, I probably would want to meet him one day, you know, just to see what it would be, you know, just to see what it would be like. I mean, I want to know, like, you know, what type of person is he? You know, I have a brother that's a deacon. I have a brother that's a business owner. I have some people in my family that's in some extremely high places. So sometimes I just wonder, like, you know, what does he like to do? What does he like to eat? It's no secret that I love fish. I love seafood. It's like, I just wonder, like, what type of person is he? Is he a cool person? Is he funny as hell? Is he even alive? How old is he? What's his birthday? How tall is he? What type of foods that he's allergic to? What type of medications that he's allergic to? Like, do we have the same smile or facial features and stuff like that? Because I'd be like wanting to know. But I think as you get older, man, and you get caught up in everyday life, you don't tend to think about or dwell on things like that. But I have to say, honestly, it still affects you in some aspects, because sometimes, you know, like I said, even as an older person, I kind of do get jealous sometimes when I do see fathers with their sons or daughters. And sometimes I be thinking like, what does that feel like? You know, but even though, again, I have not put up a lot of effort the last 20-30 years, I have tried to reach out to a few people. Some people say just leave things the way that they are, you know, and that may be a situation that I may be approaching, is to where I'm gonna have to leave things the way they are, you know, because I feel like that as a man, that if a guy knows that he has a son, it would make perfect sense to at least try to reach out, because we are going to come before God one day. So I would say, if you're in a situation like the situation that I've lived and been through, as you see, I didn't come out too bad of a guy. I mean, I bumped my head a few times, you know, I spent some time locked up, you know, I've been shot, I've been stabbed, been in street gangs. I done overcame all that. you know, started working same job for a lot of years. My kids are, all of them are just about grown, except for my 11-year-old. So I think by growing up without a dad, I think that I did pretty good for myself. I mean, there's still a lot more room for improvement. There's still a lot more work to be done. So my journey is far from over. So if you're dealing with a situation like that, where you feel like you know, like you don't really have anyone to turn to, or you in a position where you feel like, well, you know, I never met my dad, because I'm sure it's a lot of people out there like that, man. I mean, you got, like, when I was in Indiana, I mean, it happens all over the world. You got like guys getting locked up for life, guys getting killed while their kids are at a young age. I recently heard a story about this young lady. She's pregnant with a baby, and 2 weeks before the baby was actually born, the father was actually killed. And so that's like another child that's going to actually grow up without ever getting to know their dad, or ever getting to meet that, you know, person or be a part of that person's life. But I would say, you know, everybody has a story. So this is my way of sharing myself with you guys, the ones who don't know much about Damian Cryer, where I come from, you know, something, you know, a way for you to see me outside of my pranks, outside of my mukbangs, outside of my challenges and stuff like that. You know, I reach a pretty huge audience on a daily basis because I upload on a daily basis. And I know a lot of people don't know me from Adam or Eve. A lot of people come because maybe a video was recommended from a crazy prank that I did. But this is a way for you guys to know me as an individual, as a human being, and to let you guys know that I'm just as real as you guys are. You know, if you ever find yourself struggling, man, with a situation like that, man, don't never think it's the end of the world, man. Don't never give up on yourself. Don't never give up on life, because don't be one of those people who be sitting there questioning yourself 30, 40 years from now. What could have been? What could have happened? What could I have done differently? You know, if somebody's not in your life, don't blame yourself for it, man. Because I used to blame myself. I used to say to myself, damn, was I that fucked up? Was that, I'm sorry for the language, guys. Was I that messed up as a minor child where my dad didn't want to be a part of my life? Was I that messed up? Did I do something that wrong that a whooping or a punishment couldn't have fixed? For you to just walk away and just never look back? But, you know, as an adult now, I do understand that circumstances do arise that causes people to split up and to be separated from each other temporarily. But I don't see a situation where a person should be ripped out of somebody's life permanently. And sometimes that's how I feel. It's like, what the heck did I do so damn wrong? I mean, if I did something as a young kid, it probably something that I didn't know better, and I probably shouldn't have did it again. And so that's just a part of me for you guys, man. You know, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, man. I'm not even gonna really ask for a like on this video, because that's not really what this video is about. This video is just to give you guys a part of me, because like I said, as the channel grows, people are not gonna go back and watch 550 videos or how many ever videos I got up on YouTube to see me as a person, to know where I come from, where I've been, and where I'm trying to go in life. You know, so I don't know what's gonna happen from this point, if I'll ever meet the guy, but I'll never give up hope, because I believe long as you got breath in your body, that there's a chance. And you know what they say, if there's a will, there's a way. But anyway, guys, I thank you guys for watching this long video, man. Don't forget to comment, share the video, man. Keep your post notifications on to get a shout out on my channel. We upload 7 days a week, the pranks, challenges. If you like cooking videos, go on over to D Lowry channel. There she uploads 7 days a week, and we do post notification shout outs on both channels, either in the middle of the video, at the end of the video, or I believe at the start of the video. So I love you guys, man. If you guys have a video suggestion or story time that you want me to do for you guys, man, feel free to leave a comment in the comments box down below. My email is black_dhc2@yahoo.com. I love you guys. Have a wonderful, blessed, and amazing day. Until next time, I'm Damian Cryer. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.